Hi guys, my name is Jean and I'm a bachelor student of geology at TU-Darmstadt in Germany. Today I want to give you a short introduction on what geology is, what you can expect from studying it, and more specifically, I will talk about a mapping course which I did in Spain, Fuerteventura. That way I will give you also examples of what benefits are of studying geology. Let's get started. So what is geology? It is the study of our planet Earth. You see, there are so many processes which are all connected to each other. Even though the Earth is an open system, meaning it receives and gives off energy to the cosmos, there are still many processes which are all closely linked to each other. And this is exactly what you're going to study. Rocks are going to be your best friend, as they are like a hard drive. They contain so much information. When they form, they usually give indications of how the environment was back then. There is an entire rock cycle, meaning each rock is at a specific stage in the rock cycle. To make it very easy, a magmatic rock will form. Eventually, temperature and pressure is changing it. If not, it will eventually break down, get transported and form a sedimentary rock. One day, it might be formed back to magma when it is at a subduction zone. I'm sure you have heard of that before. And then, the whole thing happens again. The best way to study geology is actually to see it with your own eyes. Next time, when you're outside, ask yourself how X and Y is formed. As a geology student, you're also meant to go into the field a lot. For my bachelor, there are 2 mapping courses, which you have to attend, and one of them is in Spain, Fuerteventura. Let me show you what we did. The goal of this mapping course was to fill in a blank map like this to something which looks like this. Each color indicates a specific type of rock. Usually, a rock which is low in altitude is older than the one above it. But this is where knowledge comes into play. You have to look at the rocks and understand the processes. You have to look at the environment to understand what happened thousands or even millions of years ago. And it is possible. Let me give you an example from our mapping course. The whole area we're walking on looks like an alluvial fan, meaning a system with many small streams all getting fed with material from the same origin. Let's look at the side cut of the streams. So this is a simplification of processes. First, you just have volcanic rock, in our case a dike complex. Due to a natural slope, a stream starts to form, which is cutting into this rock. This stream eventually dried out, and all that there is left is sediments, like rocks and pebbles. The Holocene, by the way, is in geological terms quite recent, just 11,500 years ago, after the last glacial period. In the Holocene, the stream was reactivated and cut into the sediments again. However, it did not erode everything, leaving behind fluvial terraces. This new stream also left behind new sediments. Now if you look at it, these newly left behind sediments are much lower in altitude, but much younger. Something like this we can only explain by visualizing actually the processes. We can make better predictions like that and actually explain what is under ourselves. Unlike an engineer who's only working with values and numbers, geological processes are much more than just solving a formula, for example, but you really have to look in the field to understand those processes and use your actual senses. What is this important for, you might ask? Well, oil. Okay, I mean, it is not only important for oil, but reservoir geology in general. But it is also very important to know what is actually under you when you want to build, for example, a tower. I mean, you don't want to become famous and make one of the most iconic buildings just because you build on the wrong ground, do you? Let us talk about the mapping course itself. It was amazing. Not only were we able to learn a lot about the geology in Fuerteventura itself, but we also improved on our soft skills like working and coordinating in a team. We were in groups of 4 and had to map out a given area. Every other day, our instructors would follow us. During that time, we usually would show them things we haven't gotten the hang of yet, and they would explain these things. Basically, classes in the field. That was great. When we were on our own, we would walk through dike swamps and bizarre barrancos, dried out stream beds. It was surreal, really. On top of all that, we had the worst sandstorm in Fuerteventura in the last 20 years. The whole scenery looked like we were on Mars. Proper gear is so very important during those times. It was really exciting. I mean, it was really garbage weather, we couldn't go into the pool or anything, but it was super exciting. Our main task was to make a map and therefore understand the geology around us. Your best bet actually is just walking and looking everywhere. Sometimes you should be expecting certain rocks, and when they are not there, you know you didn't understand anything. Since we had good preparation though, the whole course gave you a good feeling that you were getting somewhere. Obviously we were bonding a lot. In the morning we had breakfast together, planned out the day. Then we were around 9 hours in the field. Sometimes we had to drive to the next city to stock up on our groceries, which is very exciting as well, since I have never been to Spain before and getting to know a different culture is also very refreshing. Well, I hope you liked this little look into geology. Leave me any questions whatsoever behind the comments and I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. And thank you so much for watching. Cheers.